Hello, how are you today? And are you ready to hear mysteries? If you're ready, I'll tell you.
The Haunting of Echo Ridge. In the rugged borderlands between the United States and Mexico, there lies a stretch of wilderness known as Echo Ridge. Isolated and treacherous, it's a place where even the most experienced soldiers tread carefully. This is the story of Sergeant Marcus Bennett and his team of 10 soldiers who were sent on a routine patrol mission that quickly descended into a nightmare. Sergeant Marcus Bennett led his team, comprising Corporal David Harper, Private James Rodriguez, Private Emily Chen, Private Thomas Baker, Private Lucas Mitchell, Private Sophia Garcia, Private Ethan Davis, Private Rachel Thompson, Private Noel Lee, and Private Olivia Smith. Their mission was to patrol the remote region of Echo Ridge, known for its difficult terrain and sparse population. The first day of the patrol was uneventful as they made their way through dense forests and rocky outcrops. The air was thick with humidity, and the sun's heat was relentless. By evening, they set up camp in a small clearing, the silence of the forest only broken by the occasional rustling of leaves and distant animal calls. As darkness fell, the temperature dropped sharply. The team gathered around the campfire, sharing stories and trying to shake off the eerie feeling that seemed to settle over them. Private Mitchell, a superstitious soldier, mentioned hearing stories about Echo Ridge being haunted, but his comrades laughed it off. Around midnight, a thick fog rolled in, and strange whispers began to emanate from the forest. Private Chen, on first watch, thought she saw shadowy figures moving between the trees, but dismissed it as a trick of the fog. However, the whispers grew louder, and the air became charged with an unsettling energy. Suddenly, a chilling scream pierced the night. The soldiers sprang to their feet, weapons at the ready. They discovered that Private Rodriguez, who had gone to relieve himself, was missing. They searched the area, finding him disoriented and babbling about dark figures that tried to drag him away. His arms bore strange, scratch-like marks. Shaken but determined, the team continued their patrol the next day. Moving deeper into Echo Ridge, the forest seemed more oppressive, the shadows darker, and the whispers still echoed in their minds. They found an abandoned cabin and decided to use it as their next campsite. The cabin, old and decrepit, seemed to harbor its own secrets. Inside, they found old journals belonging to a previous inhabitant who wrote about strange occurrences and the disappearance of his family. The last entry was particularly disturbing. They come every night, drawn by fear. We cannot escape. As night fell, the soldiers prepared for another harrowing night. They fortified the cabin and took turns keeping watch. The fog returned, thicker than before, and with it came the whispers. This time they were more distinct, almost intelligible, like a chant in a forgotten language. Private Thompson, on second watch, saw shadowy figures moving closer to the cabin. She raised the alarm, and the team gathered, their flashlights piercing the fog. The shadows seemed to retreat, but they could feel eyes watching them from the darkness. Around 3 a.m., the cabin's old wooden door creaked open, though no one was near it. The team huddled together, weapons drawn, as the shadows entered the cabin. The temperature plummeted, and the shadows moved silently among them, their presence overwhelming. Private Garcia collapsed, screaming that something was inside her head. The shadows eventually retreated, leaving the team exhausted and terrified. Private Garcia was left in a catatonic state, her eyes wide with fear. With 2 soldiers incapacitated, the team decided to cut their patrol short and head back to their base. The journey back was arduous, the forest seeming to conspire against them. They felt watched and followed, every rustle of leaves and snap of twigs sending their hearts racing. They stumbled upon an ancient stone circle covered in moss and ruins. The air around it was thick with an oppressive energy. The team realized this place was the source of the malevolent presence. Corporal Harper, who had been studying the journal, suggested performing a ritual described in its pages to break the curse. With no other choice, they decided to spend one last night at the stone circle. They gathered around the stones, following the ritual's instructions, which involved lighting candles and chanting the ancient words. The fog thickened, and the whispers grew louder, almost deafening. As they chanted, the shadows appeared, circling them. The air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to writhe in agony. The ground trembled, and a piercing scream echoed through the forest. The candles flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. Suddenly, a bright light erupted from the stones, banishing the shadows and lifting the fog. The oppressive energy dissipated, and the whispers fell silent. The team collapsed, exhausted but relieved. The next morning, the team made their way back to the base, carrying Private Garcia and Rodriguez. They reported their experience, but their superiors were skeptical, attributing it to stress and exhaustion. However, the soldiers knew the truth of what they had encountered. Sergeant Bennett kept the journal as a reminder of their ordeal, and the mark on Private Rodriguez's arm never faded. The team never spoke of the mission again, but the memories haunted their dreams, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked in Echo Ridge. And somewhere deep in the forest, the shadows waited, whispering their ancient chants, ready to ensnare the next unwary soul who ventured into their domain. The mysterious jungle expedition. In a remote village, whispers about a hidden treasure deep within an uncharted forest caught the attention of a group of wealthy explorers. Determined to uncover the secret, they hired an experienced local hunter named Thing to guide them. Thing was known for his deep knowledge of the jungle and his bravery. As they embarked on their journey, the group was a mix of excitement and anxiety. The dense forest loomed ahead, its shadows hiding countless secrets. The first day was relatively uneventful as they made their way through the thick foliage, with Thing leading the way using an old, worn-out map rumour to reveal the treasure's location. As night fell, the group set up camp. The sounds of the jungle filled the air, creating an eerie atmosphere. Around the campfire, Thing shared stories of the forest's mysteries, including tales of spirits and creatures that haunted the area. The explorers laughed nervously, dismissing the stories as mere folklore. However, as the night grew darker, strange occurrences began. Unseen eyes seemed to watch them, and the air grew colder. Thing, sensing something was amiss, urged everyone to stay close and keep the fire burning. The first night passed with little sleep, as the group was haunted by strange sounds and fleeting shadows. The next morning, they continued deeper into the forest, with Thing becoming increasingly uneasy. The map seemed to lead them in circles, and the sense of being watched never left them. By the second night, the tension was palpable. The group huddled around the fire, unable to shake the feeling of impending danger. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps approached their camp. Thing grabbed his rifle, motioning for silence. The footsteps stopped just beyond the light of the fire, and a chilling voice called out Thing's name. Frozen with fear, Thing responded, and a figure stepped into the light. It was an old man, his eyes gleaming with an unnatural light. He claimed to be the guardian of the forest and warned them to leave immediately. Ignoring the warning, the employers demanded to know the treasure's location. The guardian's expression turned grim as he foretold their doom should they proceed. Undeterred, the group pressed on the next day, driven by greed. Thing, though fearful, led them, feeling bound by duty. The journey became more perilous, with traps and obstacles appearing at every turn. The group's numbers dwindled as accidents and mysterious disappearances plagued them. By the time they reached the supposed location of the treasure, only Thing and a few employers remained. In a final confrontation, the Guardian reappeared, revealing the true nature of the treasure, a cursed relic meant to remain hidden. As the employers attempted to seize it, the forest came alive with vengeful spirits. Thing, realizing the truth, urged them to flee. In the chaos, only Thing managed to escape, returning to the village with a grave warning. Some secrets are meant to stay buried, and the jungle's wrath should never be challenged. The legend of the treasure and Thing's harrowing journey became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the perils that await those who let greed lead them into the unknown.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of darkness. If you enjoyed this tale, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more chilling stories of the unknown.